Welcome to Answers Unleashed, a talk show to help you reshape your brain with science and faith to find the answers in front of you. I am your host, Olympia LePoint. Now, I know if you are like me, you are in complete shock. We just had the United States presidential elections where we had two candidates who won in one of them won, the other one didn't, and we saw the entire United States go into turmoil. So today, we are here to not only reshape our brain with science and faith, but come together in a way that's actually going to heal this nation in a way that is going to be so profound that when you hear about it, it will make you change the way that you are looking at your own role of helping the United States come together. We each have our individual roles in healing this country. And it's our job to and you know me, I'm a spiritual person, to let God and his universal love pour through our beings through what we think and what we do. And so as we do this, and as we gain support in sharing our knowledge and sharing this information from us out there to the world, we create the positive change that will inspire and encourage the people to stand up in situations that are not humanity-based. And so today, we are here to interview one of the people who are making a difference in helping people know that they are safe here in the United States. Brian Graves is here with us. He recently started the Stronger Together movement that has taken Facebook by storm. At the day after the election, he saw some things that were happening on Facebook and social media that was not appropriate, that was not humanity-based. He saw, and he's going to tell you a little bit more of what was going through people's minds. And so through what happened in the election period, he created the Stronger Together movement on social media and specifically Facebook that is helping individuals express themselves and come together in a way that is humanity-based, showing how people are deserving support and how they are deserving a right to be heard. So, Brian, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. That was quite an introduction. I hope I can live up to that.
Well, I was really impressed by what you're doing. Just to give the audience a little bit of background, Brian, you have created a social media site, and you have a couple of things on your site that was very impressive. You were sharing a couple of things. You have your mission statement where if you wear a hijab, is that how you say it correctly?
Yeah.
If you wear a hijab,
I think.
I'll sit with you on the train. You're like, I think. If you're trans, I'll go to the bathroom with you. If you're an immigrant, I'll find you the right resources. If you're a survivor, I believe you. And that actually stuck with me the most. When you said that in this particular mission statement of the group of people that are coming together to be a support, that hit me home for me specifically because on this show, I talk about overcoming adversity, and I am a rape survivor from being 8 years old. And so a lot of time people have shame from those type of experiences. And it's only when they expose and get that shame out of them and they realize that they have people who are supporting them is when they realize that they're coming up stronger in life. So you saw a couple of things that were happening and share with our audience what happened in that case.
Oh, sure. First, I want to say that sort of credo or mission statement is not original of mine. That is something that I saw and I responded to. I wish I knew who the originator of it was.
Yes.
My own sort of mission statement, if I can call it that, for Stronger Together is I was seeing yesterday a lot of friends and friends of friends and complete strangers share stories of how they were being physically attacked by people who were emboldened to express their fear and hatred by what has gone on in this election and by the result of this election. And it hit me in a way that, frankly, I've never been hit by anything before. I've not done anything like this before, but I talked to some friends and just asked them how I could be of service to them, how I could help them.
How you could help them.
Yeah. And so it really started as just offering a friend, hey, if you're scared, if you feel that this is going to happen to me, tell me where you are. I will walk you to wherever you're going. I will be there with you. I'm a 6'1", 200-pound bearded dude. So I figured, my presence may help. Even if I can do nothing else, just maybe, bullies pick on people who are vulnerable. And if you're alone, it's easy. But if you're in a group, you're stronger. We're stronger when we are together, and both emotionally and physically.
And tell me about your friend.
So he was originally posting about some of his fear and pain. He is a gay Indian man who just his entire identity, I think he felt, was under attack from what was going on. And it started with him, but as I kind of went down this hole on social media and people were sharing their stories, I saw a story of a young woman whose hijab, if I'm saying that right, was torn off her in the subway, and the person who tore it off said, "You can't wear this anymore, and I should hang you with it." I saw a story of an Indian man who was just filling up his car at a gas station and had a bottle thrown at his head and screamed, "Get out of the country, Abu." I saw.
So this is hate.
Yeah, this is pure hate, and it doesn't sit well with me.
And it doesn't sit well with many Americans.
Yeah.
Over half the country does not agree with this behavior, and I think that's important to mention, not only for the people who are listening, but for the people in other countries, because a lot of individuals do not know that it was a torn decision.
Yeah,
the popular vote does. Most of the people in the United States do not agree with this type of hate.
Yeah, and I think that's true. I hope that's true. So what I started to do is just say, hey, listen, if you need this, if you need somebody to come just walk with you or sit with you because you're afraid or you're alone, let me volunteer my time to do that. And I reached out to a couple of people because I realized I'm not always going to be available 24/7. So I reached out to a couple of people.
You're not Superman?
Right? I wish I was. So
you may look like it though.
I reached out to a couple of people to see if they would want to join me in this effort. And what happened from there was amazing. It just kept growing. It's been less than 24 hours since I started the social media site. We have almost 300 volunteers.
300?
Yeah.
In less than 24 hours?
Yeah. From all over the globe, or not globe, from all over the country, who are interested in helping. I now am working with a friend of mine to build an app that I hope will help us reach more people and also make it more easier access, because sometimes it's tough to let people know that you need this help right at this moment. So I'm hoping that the app will allow us to organize in a better way.
Wouldn't it be amazing if it's like Uber?
That would be the goal, right? Like it would be, as far as I can think right now, is that as big as this thing could be, is that if it could be a crowdsourcing anti-bullying machine, maybe, I'm not sure, but if just a community that comes together and says, we are not okay with this. And if you are alone, if you are scared, if you need support in this moment, we're all here for you. And you can just say, hey, this is where I am. I need to walk home because I am alone. Or I'm here and I've just been attacked and I've called the police, but they might come back before the police gets here. Can somebody come sit with me while the police comes? Or, and this is somebody from the group suggested, and I think it's a wonderful expansion of this idea. They sent me an article that 8 transgender people killed themselves yesterday. And that's a shame. And
I think we need to really hit upon that, because what's happening with this election is not accurate. What is happening with 2 individuals and political parties that are fighting with one another actually has, surprisingly enough, no matter how it's been portrayed or seen or given in the media within his campaign, it has nothing to do with your life. They may make laws and decisions, but and it just really, I just need to hit this home. You have a job on this planet that is independent of what anyone else says or what anyone else does. You have a job and a role on this planet to fulfill that only you can do, and you will be distracted by all of these type of situations that are coming up. And for me to hear that happening, it shows me that there needs to be a push in which you are starting, and which many other people will be a part of, that will let people know that despite what's happening in the government, despite what's happening with these groups of miniature terrorists that are coming out, that there is still a collective body supporting you, supporting individuals to get out there and do the gifts, be the way in which you were designed to be able to help this earth. And I think when people see that, when people understand that there are people supporting them in doing it is what they do to help build a society that is based on support and love and diversity, is when we can come together as a nation that is strong. And when I hear that, I'm just so captivated on on hearing about, where do you see this going? Where do you see this being built into?
Well, I'm hopeful that we can just build this into a community of support. I mean, it started as a community of physical support, of just protecting and making sure people were safe. But it should also be one of emotional support, and letting people know that they're not alone.
So maybe counselors involved?
Yeah, I mean, certainly that would be great. I mean, I think we are all, I come from a long line of ministers, and although I have not embraced that particular lifestyle myself, I'm definitely influenced by them. And I would hope that we are heeding that call, that we are all counselors for each other, that just the act of having somebody come to you and sit with you and tell you you're not alone has some healing power. And if you need that professional help, then maybe we can help you get in touch with the right person if you don't know how to do that, or you're too wrapped up in what you're going through, in your sadness and your depression, to be able to push those buttons, or to be able to make that call, to be able to walk to that office that you need. That we can do that for you. If you need somebody to do that for you, we can walk you there. We can make the phone call for you. You know, we can be that one little step that you need to be healed, to be safe. That's really what it's about.
So you'll need volunteers in all the different areas, in counseling, resource environments, the right legislation and leaders to be able to be a part of this. You also need tech support of people building the app and actually helping coming forth to be able to do this. And so this is actually your call to the world.
For
the volunteers to come out.
Absolutely. If you're listening to this and this is something that you believe in and you're inspired by this, please find right now it's our Facebook group. It's Stronger Together. We're going to hopefully get the app launched very, very soon. And let us know how you can help, or how you would like to volunteer your time, so we can organize it. I mean, this has been something that's been a little crazy, because I literally just thought it was going to be me and a couple gym buddies helping out friends, right? But it has grown, and I want to be able to answer the call of the growth that people seem to want and need right now. So.
And if there's any police officers or law enforcement that's out there that can help in any shape or way or form?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, these things that were real. Yes.
Any lawyers that are out there that are interested in representing individuals that have been part of hate crimes?
Absolutely.
Or individuals that are looking to screen the different individuals that want to join the group and be protection in any shape, way, or form?
Absolutely.
These are individuals in which can come forward now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is in its infancy. So, I mean, it can be anything right now. I mean, it can be what people are willing to give. I mean, if it winds up dwindling and goes back to being me and a couple of gym buddies walking people home safe at night, that's okay. If I can help one person, this is worth it. But if it grows, if it becomes something larger, then that's good too. I mean, and if we can help a lot of people, then that's even better, right?
I find this really fascinating, specifically how it deals with the brain itself. When we go through shame, and I've talked about this in a couple of different episodes that we've just had, when we are faced with overcoming shame in our life, something happens to us. We have a couple of emotions. We can have the victim type of mentality where we think, okay, this is always going to happen to me. We may have the over-aggressive personality in which everyone is going to hurt me, so I'm going to do the hurting first. Or we can have the mentality of change and the mentality of regrowth brain-wise, where we will expose the events or the shame that has happened to us. And in doing so, we gain the support of people that are around us that will help mirror our strength that is inside of us. So by seeing and attracting that type of support, we then will recognize the own strength that we have inside of us to completely remove the shame for what it is an experience that had nothing to do with who you are.
I'm very moved by that. That's very profound.
Thank you. Sometimes I say things and it just comes through here. But the key thing is that, how do you want to make a difference? The audience, how do you want to make a difference? How is it that you want to see this world change after this particular election? What is it that you wish to see happen? Gandhi is one of my favorite I call him a prophet, favorite individuals who was a spiritual leader. And his quote that I live by is, you must be the change that you wish to see in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it that you want to be? If you are angered by this, not the election, but you're angered by how people are treating one another after the election, what it is that you can do is you can find out a little bit more about this particular group. And for your background, Brian, now you've always, and I've been following your posts, and I really enjoy the fact that you're a humanitarian. And that's actually the reason why I have you on the show, is that you've had a background of humanitarianism for a long time. And if you can think back to the time in which that first was made aware to you that you really cared about people.
Sure.
Take us back to that moment, and how did that come about?
Well, like I said, I come from a long line of ministers, and my grandfather and I have an uncle, and my mother is a minister. And when she was first starting that path, she was working as a youth minister for the First Christian Church in Eugene, Oregon. And I was a teenager at the time, and I would go to the stuff, because my mom wanted me to, not necessarily because I had experienced some sort of faith change, but because, that's what was required from me and my family. And as a teenager, I was, I had issues, all teenagers do. You're going through things, you're trying to figure out the world. And I was thinking about maybe I should do this. Maybe I should become a part of the church, not really because I had some sort of transcendent thing, but more of a support of my mother. And as I was thinking about this choice, the minister of the church had given a speech or a sermon about universal acceptance, which was a challenging theory for me at the time, because at that time in Oregon there was a proposition that was on the ballot that was about banning homosexuals from teaching schools. And my school had a mock election, right? And that went through like a landslide, right? It was like 80% of the student population were like, yeah, we don't want homosexuals teaching us. And I am ashamed to say that I was not particularly moved one way or the other. I think I voted against it. I hope I did. I don't really remember, but I don't remember in the mock election. But I don't remember. I don't remember being passionate about it. And I did have some issues of like, well, maybe they shouldn't, sort of teenagery, social peer pressure sort of thing. So this sermon was given about universal acceptance, and he focused on this proposition, and it challenged me in a way that I had not been challenged before, and also awoken within me an understanding that just because I am not experiencing things in some way does not mean that that invalidates somebody else's experience. That my experience is narrow. The world is larger than my ego. And that the world is not here to serve my ego. That it might be. That I am here to serve the world.
You were here to serve the world.
Yeah.
That was the important thing.
Yeah. And that was a new thought as a teenager, right? Because as a teenager, you're all about your own id, right? You're all about
hormones
like,
changing,
It's like everything is for me.
Yes. Why I can't eat my potato chips?
Yeah, exactly. So that was a big thing, and that day I went up and I tried to make some sort of commitment to follow a path that I didn't really understand fully, but understood that it was a worthwhile path. And certainly in my years since, I have both sometimes activated that path and sometimes been very far away from it. But right now, as I see people hurting and I see people afraid, that has never been stronger in me. I don't know how to really explain the transformation that happened for me yesterday.
Actually, do you want me to too? Do you want to hear it?
Sure, please.
All
because
right.
You are a much more articulate person than I am, so please go ahead.
Well, you asked, you don't know what happened. And actually I do. When we go through traumatic situations, we actually have a choice. The traumatic situation isn't necessarily the situation that is happening to us, but it gives us the opportunity to act. Our response in that particular traumatic situation or a situation in which we were not expecting gives us an opportunity to either do one of two things. It will give us the opportunity to actually move towards the design path in which our heart tells us to go, or it will paralyze us to the point where we continuously to choose a path in which is not authentic to ourselves. And in that moment in time, any type of hardship that comes a birth in either direction. And so if you choose that birth of regrowth, and if you choose that birth of moving towards the direction in which has always been on your heart, and I know I'm speaking to somebody out there in this audience, if you choose a role that you've been passionate about, but you're not necessarily knowing how to do it and you're kind of scared to do it, but you feel so moved about it, that's the sign of growth for you. If you're excited about it and scared so much about it at the same time, that's the sign that that's the path for you to actually grow in a new way that you have never ever anticipated before. And that happened with me, surprisingly, on this radio show. When I was first offered to do the radio show, I thought to myself, oh, I've never done a radio show before. I've been speaking in front of large groups. I've never been recorded on the radio. How do you even do it? What are you supposed to do? Oh my God. But at the same time, as I went home, all I could think about was, what would the show be about? And what would I say? And what would I do? And how would I be able to use the role of radio to be able to help transform people in what I'm passionate about doing, which is changing someone's brain. And so when I'm hearing your experience yesterday about, okay, it was that something that just birthed and moved out of you, that is the response of you taking charge of your future and being a service to the world in the way in which was a response of something that sounds strange, something that almost had to happen in order for this to happen.
I think that's actually very astute, because I have voted, but I've never written a congressman. I've never been active that sort of way before. I've accidentally marched, right? Because I've stumbled into one and went, "What's this march for? Oh, that sounds like a good idea," but not organized, right? I have not always been the change I want to see in the world, right? So that this is a new thing for me, and I have to tell you, had I not seen these despicable acts of violence against people, it would not have happened. I would have gone on being quiet and doing my own thing You know, I, I, I hesitate to say this because this is about a different thing, but I also, you know this, that I'm also an actor, and that lately the roles that I like to choose when I do something is I like to find something that says something interesting. Right, I get bored very
in which
easily.
you're a wonderful actor,
Well,
by the
thank
way.
you,
I've seen
thank
you in
you.
so many different plays where I was moved, and I swore when you stopped, and you were in you had an accent in one of them. What was the one that I saw you?
That was a Betrayal. Yeah, I was doing an English
Betrayal.
accent.
There was and there was so many. You had a great cast of people that were with you.
Yeah.
You want to do a shout out to them right now?
Oh God, yeah. Lizzie and Greg, they were fantastic, and Aaron Craig, who directed the production and has become a close personal friend and is helping me now with this effort with Stronger Together. They are lovely, lovely people.
And you had great actors that were with you. By the way,
Yeah.
I was completely shocked that you didn't have an accent after when I first met you afterwards.
Thank you. That's a lot of work. So this has been it would have been easy to just continue to do that, right?
Well, I think you're a representative of most of America.
Yeah.
Most of America has not picked up the phone. They have not called a senator. They haven't written a congressman. They will watch things online and they'll say, okay, I hope the people do something about it.
Exactly.
And so in that case, that we are usually used to having someone else make choices and make decisions for us. And we think everything will be fine. And we don't necessarily know the power that we have in our own choices. So it's almost like you are like the average American seeing what's happening.
You know what? I absolutely accept that description. I, in the last 24 hours, have been called a lot of things that I disagree with, but being called an average American is something I absolutely agree with. That is what I feel like. I feel like that I am an average American who's been awoken by something that we cannot let go unanswered.
So the average American that's out there, that is just like you.
Yeah.
So if I can describe you to the audience, and if you're listening online, or you are going to be seeing the pictures of the YouTube audio that comes out from this, you're going to see that Brian is a white male that is around 6 foot, a little bit 6 foot tall, 6'1", big burly guy, beard, who looks like a lumberjack guy.
It's true. It's true. Actually, I build furniture, and I'm actually in my my stuff as when you called me, I was actually at the shop, so I was like, okay, I'll come right over. So
you're when you look at him, you're gonna see he looks like an average American, and these are part of the average Americans in many different states that we see across the nation, in Idaho or Iowa or Mississippi or California or New York. You're going to see people that look like you and people that have the same type of mentality like you that necessarily do not know how they can move forward. What is a different way in which you would recommend that they can do it?
I will tell you the same thing that was told to me yesterday when I asked a friend how I could be of service to them, how I could help as they were expressing pain. And they said, hey, listen, here are some causes. You could just give them money, which in one way is its own form of apathy because you are allowing somebody else to do the work. But if that's the minimum you can do, I don't have a lot of money. I have some. I give what I can. But I said, what else can I do? I said, I have some time. I have my hands. And so he challenged me not challenged, not like, but he challenged me to be better than I am.
Okay.
Right? And I listen to that and I accept that challenge. And whatever that means for you, step out of yourself for a minute and look at the people around you and what they need. And I think the most important question you can ask to somebody who is in pain right now is, how may I be of service to you? I learned that from my mother. And I think it's maybe one of the most important lessons she's ever taught me, because it puts aside your own ego. Don't get defensive with somebody. If you have friends in the LGBTQ community, if you have friends of color, if you have friends of different faith, and you see that they're going, this is an attack on my identity, right? Some of these things that are going on. Don't get defensive. Don't take well, it's not all white people, or I'm not part of that. Let them have their pain, and then step up and say, how can I help you? How can I be of service to you? Because that is the way to approach somebody in pain. Defensiveness will cause them, I believe, to crawl further into their shell, right? If you're defensive, they have to be defensive about their pain. Don't invalidate their pain. Embrace their pain.
It's fascinating what you share about this. I had a similar story. Someone helped me. Right after the elections, I came down with vomiting. It was just horrible. I was going to the Face Bowl puking, and I assume it was something I ate. Then I had to go to the doctor a little bit later to find out that I needed to stay home and rest. But I was not doing well. I was like physically throwing up and everything after. I'm not quite sure if the election results already triggered something that needed to come out of me anyway, but in any case, I was not doing well. And so in that process of needing help and going through my own physical pain of the digestion issue, one of my friends asked me, how can I help you? And I needed to actually go to the doctor, and I needed to drive to the doctor, and I was so crumpled over in physical pain from having the stomach virus that I could not sit up straight, let alone drive to get there, but I needed to get there in order to get the right medication, and also to bring information to work showing, okay, I was not doing well, and this is the proof, and I just need to show this. And it's something that she so did, and she was so kind. She just had a 1-year-old. She's very beautiful, kind woman. She happens to be white, long blonde hair. And she came over and she picked me up with her 1-year-old daughter in the car. And as I was feeling nauseous, trying to sit up straight in the passenger seat, she drove me to the doctor and she helped me get the medicine I need in order to rest. And at that moment in time after the election, I thought to myself, this is what humanity is about.
Yeah.
This is what it is about. It's not about people bickering and arguing on politics. It is the one-to-one connections that we make with people and what we choose to do and how to serve people that transforms the way that we see ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So with that, I'm so honored that you chose to be on Answers Unleashed here.
Oh, please. I am the one who's honored.
How can people find you for people that want to find you?
Yes. So right now there's just the Facebook page, Stronger Together. I hope that we can expand this into other social media sites and the app that we're working on. So if you would like to go to Stronger Together and request to be part of the group, please do. I think that's how it works. I'm not the most technically savvy person, so this is a new thing for me.
For news about this, you go to facebook.com/.
It's Stronger Together. I would actually have to look.
What he's doing, he's looking on his cell phone right now.
I'm actually trying to look up the share because I think it has like numbers in it and everything still.
Okay, I'll tell you exactly what it is. It is. Oops, what is it?
Yeah, I know. We're both like this.
Stronger Together. It's Stronger Together. It's a public Facebook group on Facebook. You'll see it there. It's actually really cool when you get a chance to join. And you'll see different things that was heartbreaking. You'll see different things that are uplifting. I encourage you to join on here. I fully support what you're doing, Brian.
If you can't find it, find me. It's Brian Graves on Facebook. And let me know that you're interested in joining. This is something that if we're going to reach a large group of people, we need a large group of help. Great.
And if you're listening to this and you want to help too, feel free to email me directly at answersunleashed.com. We can forward you straight to Brian Graves in the group. You can call us at 888-88-ANSWERS to find out more about our show. Find me on Facebook, facebook.com/Olympia LePoint. And remember, tune into us every single week on kpcradio.com, where we are answering your questions and helping you reshape your brain with science and faith to find the answers in front of you. I am Olympia LePoint, here with you with Answers Unleashed. I'll see you next time.